Yes, guys, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur. I hope you are all enjoying that heat wave that we are currently going through, that we're experiencing. But with Ange Postecoglou being appointed Tottenham's next manager, and Daniel Levy citing one of the reasons behind his appointment was that he has a track record of developing players, but also understood the importance of the link between the first team and the academy. So today, I've picked out 5 players that I believe have a good opportunity or a good chance of making the first team squad under Ange Postecoglou this season. Now, the first academy prospect that I'm going to talk about today is one of my favourite. That's 18-year-old centre-half Alfie Darlington, who hails from Enfield. He's a Tottenham fan, so he'll understand what it means to play for this football club. But also, it's about time we had another Ledley King at the heart of our backline. Darlington was an integral part of the academy last season, representing Tottenham across multiple age groups, from the under-17 Cup winning side to the under-18 Cup winning side, the under-19 UEFA Youth League side, and a key figure in that under-21 side, and has shown he's important across all age groups, and it represents how highly he is regarded by those around the club. He's also capped England at under-15, 16, 17, and under-18s. And I know people in around the England setup highly regard Alfie Darlington as well. Now, Darlington, he only recently signed a new 3-year contract and spoke about in his interview about establishing himself in the under-21s even further and hoping to get an opportunity in the first team. Darlington is one of the best centre-backs in his age group. Defensively solid, very rarely puts a foot wrong. But the trait I think Ange Postecoglou will love the most is about how confident and comfortable he is on the ball. As we've seen, it was on display in that under-18 Cup final, when he picked up the ball just inside his own box, done a 1-2 with Mikey Moore, continued to steam train right through the middle before setting up Jamie Dolly for his goal in that under-18 Cup final. And in a recent interview, Darlington spoke about how he's being coached and encouraged to play and carry that ball out of the fence when the opportunity arises and when the opportunity presents itself to do so. And I think that is a trait that will ultimately end up catching Ange Postecoglou's eye, which will make him give someone like Alfie Darlington a chance, even if it's in a cup game, in my opinion. For me, I think Darlington has the best opportunity out of everybody in that academy, purely because that defence of ours in the senior squad is so crap. It's shit. We conceded over 63 goals last season in the Premier League alone, which is the worst in Tottenham's history, and the worst in Tottenham's history since the Premier League started as well. So there is opportunity for someone like Darlington to get in there, providing he continues to develop. Now, when you also look at our current centre-back options, Sanchez, according to reports, he's on his way out. Dyer, there's no contract renewal for him anymore. He's supposedly on his way out. Tanganga's been pushing for a move out of this club since last season. On the Sky Sports Deadline Day documentary, you can see he was angling and pushing for that move to Milan all summer long. And then you've got Ben Davies. Now, Ben Davies, for me, cannot play centre-back in a back four. If he's going to hang around, it would be at left-back. So that only leaves you with Christian Romero and the 2 centre-backs that they promised us last January that would be arriving this summer. So for me, there's definitely a spot there that Alfie Darlington can lay claim to in the first team. Also, when you look at it, Sanchez played 20 games for us last year on 67k a week. And that was a bad year for injuries for us as well. So for next season, with no European football, I would hope we would get a lot less injuries. The games that Sanchez did play would probably be cut in half. So for me, why not give someone like Darlington Sanchez's role? He's on a lot less money. He would value at least, the 10 appearances that will be on offer, and he'll give it his all. For me, it can't be any worse. So for me, sell Sanchez, which he is on his way out the door, and give Alfie Darlington a chance. What have we got to lose, in my opinion? For me, I also think that Ange should get him training with the senior team while playing for the under-21s until that opportunity arises where we can give Alfie Darlington his chance. And I think he's one that Ange Postecoglou will look at. Darlington will catch Postecoglou's eye, and I think Postecoglou will want to develop him. So let me know down in the comments what's your thoughts on my opinion on Alfie Darlington. Do you think he has a chance of making Ange Postecoglou's squad? Now, sticking with defence, and the next academy prospect that I am going to talk about is 18-year-old versatile defender, Charlie Sayers. Now, just to give you a bit of background how Charlie Sayers ended up at Tottenham, we did end up signing him from Southend United, rose through the ranks rapidly, got into their first team down in the National League. Tottenham had monitored the progress, and as soon as he got into their first team, we acted swiftly to bring this guy into the academy. And since he joined the academy, the under-18s, he went straight into that side, and he ended up captaining it as soon as he got here, which is a huge ask and a huge responsibility for anyone just arriving at a club. It doesn't really matter what level it's at. And he stepped up. He done a good job. And then since then, he's gone on to playing the under-19 UEFA Youth League side and the under-21s, although this season has slightly been disrupted because of an eye injury, but he has since recovered. Someone like Charlie Sayers was also drafted in after Joe Rodon missed last season's preseason tour due to illness. Conte drafted Charlie Sayers in there and took him with him. Now, like I mentioned, that he's versatile. He can play centre-back or left-back. And the reason why I think he might also have an opportunity, and maybe a little bit of a better opportunity over someone like Alfie Darlington, is because Charlie Sayers is slightly older, but also slightly more experienced from his time at Southend United. And unlike Darlington, Charlie Sayers can play two positions. He can play left back and centre back, so that doubles the opportunity of him making the first team squad, but also catching Postecoglou's eye because he can do it at left back or centre back. And no doubt, I think he'll be given the opportunity if he gets called up to show what one he can play. When you look at the centre backs, we've already spoke about one of the youth players, one of the youth academies, or one of the academy prospects having to step up and maybe fill one of them spots for us this season, which is the way it should be anyway, even if it's the fourth spot or the fifth spot. And then when you look at left back, you don't know what Reguilon and Session's future holds. Okay, even if you keep a Dozy around, is Ben Davies good enough either? You know, and if Ben Davies gets the opportunity and doesn't take it and gets roasted like he did against Aston Villa or Brentford last game of the season, well, then I do think Postecoglou, he's not going to hang around. He's going to look for someone else. So therefore, he could end up turning to someone like Charlie Sayers. So I think what I'm trying to say to you is sometimes Postecoglou can do the unexpected. And with Charlie Sayers, like I said, being versatile, having two opportunities to impress him, you might just see this kid up and around the first team next season. I think he definitely goes on preseason for sure. Moving on into midfield, the first academy prospect in the midfield that I want to talk about today is Alfie Devine. It seems like one that we have spoke about for a number of years now, even though he's only 18, which is madness when you come to think about it, but also highlights the talent and how much people have high hopes for Alfie Devine, who is supremely talented, by the way. Now, he is the club's youngest ever goal scorer at 16 years, 163 days old, after scoring a fifth goal in the 5-0 win in the FA Cup game versus Marine under Jose Mourinho. Devine has been a mainstay of our under-21 side and UEFA Youth League side since he signed for us from Wigan in 2020, and many say that he is the most talented youngster at this football club, and I would agree with them from what I've seen of him. He has been named on the bench in the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the Premier League over the last few years, and every manager has kept him around, often bringing him up to train with the senior team, although he has been unlucky not to be sent out on loan last season, which I think was actually the plan for him. Last season under Antonio Conte, they wanted to send him out on loan, but Alfie Devine ended up picking up an unfortunate injury in pre-season, which meant he didn't end up getting that loan move. Devine recently signed a 5-year deal with the club, and for a teenager, that is an absolute colossal contract to have, especially the length of it, and it just goes to show and highlights how regarded they think of him in and around Tottenham. Now, Devine is an attacking midfielder, an area we currently lack at the club and are looking to recruit in. Even if we do end up signing someone like a James Maddison or someone like that, I feel like we can keep someone like Alfie Devine around as deputy and look to develop him. Whereas other managers in years gone by, and this is where I feel sorry for Devine and others like Gill and that at the club, where a Conte or a Jose Mourinho or even a Nuno, but more so Conte and Jose, they're win-now managers. They want to use experienced players that are ready to go. They don't want to look there and develop, these younger players. So for me, I think Ange Postecoglou coming in is absolutely ideal for someone like Alfie Devine, and I think Postecoglou is the right man to help the talented teenager break through and get the most out of him, like he did with IrishHotspur at Celtic. The next step for someone like Alfie Devine is first team football. Now, whether that be at Tottenham or whether that will be out on loan, it remains to be seen. I do think Alfie Devine will get the pre-season tour to prove to Ange Postecoglou he is good enough to be playing already, or at least be on the bench with coming off and getting some minutes looking to impact games. But guys, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on Alfie Devine. Would he benefit from a loan move, or should we look to progress him into the senior team as quick as possible? Now, sticking with the midfield, the next academy prospect that we are going to talk about is a guy that I've spoke about for some time on this channel, and I really do hope he gets the opportunity, and that is versatile Harvey White, 21 years of age, and at the other end of the academy age range compared to others on this list. And the time is coming for him to decide what his next step in his career is after a number of loan moves away from the club. Harvey White is one who has been kept around the first team and working with them when they're out on loan. He was in and around the first team squad on the bench for the likes of the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Europa Conference League, as well as being named a substitute 19 times in the Premier League without actually being given the nod for any minutes whatsoever, which I think is supremely harsh, but also probably highlights how much deadwood and shit we have had clogging up, the first team. As I already alluded to, White is versatile. He can play as a defensive midfielder or an advanced central midfielder or as a left back, and is one of the best set piece takers at this football club. Many like me would like someone like a Ward-Prowse, not only because he's a dead ball specialist, but also because he offers us something different. A player who can play in a deeper role in the midfield and has a good passing range about him, who can also try and help us dictate games from that position. And if we don't want to pay the money for someone like Ward-Prowse, 30, 40 million that it might take, well then, why not give Harvey White the opportunity? He possesses very similar traits and is also English as well. Now, the fact that Harvey White is versatile, he can play in an attacking role, he can play in a defensive role, and at a left-back role, it gives him triple the opportunity to try and get into someone like Postecoglou's first-team squad, which is absolutely brilliant for someone like Harvey White, but also it could hinder him because managers don't really know what his best position is and what to do with him. But Ange Postecoglou does like to play that inverted fullback system where he likes his wing-backs to sort of make underlapping runs and use the space that the wide wingers who stay completely wide have created on the inside. And someone like White, who, is good on the ball, he can play left back, but also can play in the middle. That's going to be no stranger to him making them runs inside through the middle. So that'll definitely suit someone like Harvey White and could be in contention or even be looked at as a left back or the inverted left back system that someone like Postecoglou does like to use. Now, the last academy prospect that I am going to talk about this evening is Jamie Dolly, but don't switch off. Let me tell you exactly why I have picked Jamie Dolly, because I know some of you are going to say, come on, Dave, it's a bit unrealistic. But this is where I play 5D chess. Listen to me. Now, I know some of you might be shocked that I've gone with Dolly over the likes of Parrott and Scarlett, but my reasoning behind it is that Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett, I think, will be sent out on loan to continue the development. It makes no sense whatsoever to keep them around the likes of Kane and Richarlison, who are ahead of them. It's just blocking up their pathway. So I do feel like Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett will be loaned out, which then presents Donnelly with the opportunity, if an injury happens, or if we need people on the cut bench and we want to keep Harry Kane at home, Richarlison starts, you're going to need another guy on the bench. Well, why not make it Jamie Dolly? And I think this is where he might find himself with an opportunity presented him somewhere along the line this season. Jamie Dolly is only 18 and is the next big striker, the next big talent to emerge from the academy. Dolly has already shown that he will make sacrifices for the benefit of the team, which shows he's a real team player. This season, he has given up the striker role to fill in holes in central midfield, on the wing, or as a number 10. But here's the most impressive thing. He has not affected his output in terms of goals or assists, proving that this kid can play anywhere and still contribute just purely because he is hungry to make a difference. He was a leading figure in the under-17s and the under-18s cup runs. He also turns up on the big occasion, bagging that great goal in the under-18s cup final and an assist as well. But he also scored in the under-21s final match of the season against West Ham. Although winning 1-0, it was not quite enough to keep him up. But the guy turns up when it matters, and he's dependable. People can rely on him. Dolly has also been rewarded with a new long-term contract back in March. He signed a new long-term deal that will keep him here until 2027. And I also expect him to be kept in around the under-21s and the under-18s this season. And I think, for a cup game, early rounds, Carabao Cup or FA Cup, I do think you'll see someone like Dolly make the bench or be the beneficiary of a couple of injuries while others are out on loan developing. So you might just see this kid appear at least once or twice this season. And you got to remember, everybody, someone like Harry Kane, all he needed is one opportunity. And I've no doubt that's all the likes of Devine, White, Darlington, and Dolly and Charlie Sayers. I've no doubt that's what they all want. Just one chance. Now, of course, there's so many I could have sat here and spoke about today. We have an absolute plethora of youth talent in the academy at Tottenham Hotspur. I could have picked Mikey Moore, Tyrese Hall, Rio Kiramentin, Abbott, Craig, young Ollie Iro, but they're all still in and around 17 years of age. They're still on the young side with plenty of room to develop. And as well, physically, I think some of them still need to develop physically maybe before that opportunity arrives. But the players that I've picked here today, I think physically, mentally, and talent-wise are just ready, sitting there waiting for an opportunity. But look, guys, everybody, please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Is there anyone that you've identified in the academy that I've missed that you think should be on my list? Please put it in. Put in your reasons why. That would be absolutely awesome. If you want more of this content, if you are enjoying the content that I am putting out here, make sure you smash that like button. We're in a constant fight with the algorithm. We want to win. Also, smash that subscribe button. Share the stream out to all your fellow Spurs fans. And feel free to get in the super thanks to show your appreciation for the effort that goes into these videos. But guys, go and enjoy your Saturday. As always, come on, you Spurs. In Ange Postecoglou, we trust.